All right, we're gonna do this as I have my full splendor here with the Jared Allen, the little mullet headband here. As I try to get out of here, I should have started driving first before I did it. For the big drive home, the big discussion of the ball game today. We were coming in. It's like, hey, what are we gonna see now after the bye week? What kind of team are we going to see? What changes are going to be made? And as it turns out, we saw basically the same goddamn thing that we saw for about 4 or 5 weeks before the bye, which is a team that at times looks absolutely like pitch perfect, dominant, unbeatable on offense. Occasionally doesn't. Occasionally has some bad drives. But generally, looks pretty good on offense and gives up a lot of yards on defense, sometimes a lot of points, but is opportunistic. And that's exactly what we saw again today. 34-26 Vikings win. I think just from like an overall entertainment standpoint, this was probably the best game of the year. Not that the other games weren't entertaining, but there were lulls in those other games. There was really no lull today. This was a really, really entertaining game. A lot of stuff happened. I'm not going to be able to recount it all. I'm never good at recounting everything, and I'm never good at recounting it in the right order. But we jump out 14-3. We get the Kirk. The greatest touchdown run that we will probably ever see Kirk Cousins deliver. He even put a move on the guy out there. So we get that, and then I think the second one was Madison. We're up 14-3. Everything's looking pretty good. Then we get a little bit of that lull, a little bit of that defensive lull that we always like to get. Or not a defensive lull, the offensive lull. Hold on here, we got lights out. Okay, I guess they're not going in. People don't understand what that means. They're not experienced drivers. We get a little bit of a lull. We give up a touchdown. Kind of right before the half. But it's okay. Like, okay, I didn't go in expecting we were gonna be shutting them out or anything. And then we start to have the adventure with the kicker. We do everything right to get in position for a long field goal. It was like 56 yards. It gets blocked. Generally, I don't blame blocks on kickers, but the consensus on Twitter seemed to be that Joseph fucked that up by kicking it too low. So we go into the half. We get the Jared Allen thing, the halftime. But it's 14-10. We kind of blown the momentum, but it's like I'm almost zen at this point for like 3/4 of Vikings games, because I'm just assuming that it's going to always come down to the last couple minutes, and I'm usually right. I was pretty much right again today. Third quarter was crazy. We got Arizona goes down, they score. They score to take the lead, and then, as we've seen a lot this year, whatever this offense's struggles are, their inconsistencies, when they have a drive where it's like they really need to do something right now, they really need to go get a touchdown or even just a score, they do it, and then they did it. Like, again, they go right down the field. Right after Arizona takes the one lead that they had today, and we get in the end zone. I think that was the one. We scored two, right? We scored two in like 2 minutes. I can't remember if that was the KJ one or if that was Dalvin. I think that might have been the Dalvin one. And then Kyler Murray, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking on the next series. He just chucks one up into just no man's land. It gets picked off by the hitman. Easiest pick he's going to have the rest of his career. And we go right down, get it in again. Now, I think that was the one where Kirk just threw a fucking dime to the side of the end zone, and Osborne got it. And then I go run to the bathroom, because I'm like, okay, let me go empty the pipes a little bit. I'm not even back from the bathroom, and the bathroom is like right by my section. I'm not even back from the bathroom when we've already given up a touchdown. Or I think I was walking in just as they walked back in, just as we gave up this long touchdown. So I don't really know what happened on that series leading up to it, but it wasn't good. We stopped him on the 2. Things are. I'm still not that worried because we had just gone 2 straight drives surgically, scored, and then we get the strip sack. Pretty deep, fairly deep in our own end. It was like a 30-yard line or something. That was like right around the end of the third quarter. Ed Ingram, look, he's a rookie. I don't watch every play that he does every week. I think he's acquitted himself okay. Horrible game from him though, and on that strip sack, he just got absolutely embarrassed. I think there was another one where they sacked Kirk, and it was Ed Ingram just got barreled over. But Kirk was probably about a second away from tossing one to who knows where. And they get the fucking strip sack, and then it's the one thing you can't do. Like I never really felt like they weren't in at least some control of the game, but you can't do that. And of course, people. I haven't had to rant about Kirk much this year, and the Kirk haters, but man, they were just waiting for every little thing. He throws a pass earlier in the game to Osborne on the sideline, should have been caught. Everyone was yelling at Kirk about it. There was a play that he made a mistake on, and I'm sure he's had his press conference by now. He's probably admitted it, where it was like a 3rd and 1, and he could have run for the first down very easily, but he tried to make a throw downfield, and it was incomplete. And then we got turned over on downs on the 4th and 1. So that was a bad sequence. But I mean, and then the strip sack boy, they're just waiting for Kirk. They're just waiting. These people are lying in wait. And Kirk hasn't had too many instances this year of mistakes or big turnovers or anything. But man, they're just waiting for it. But we get the strip sack, but then we do catch a break. We hold it to a field goal because he bobbles the snap. Murray bobbles the snap on a 3rd down. It was like a kind of a long 3rd down, so maybe we would have stopped him anyway. But and they get the field goal. It's a 2-point game. At that point, it's like, well, here we go. Fourth quarter, stressful fourth quarter. This is what we do. And then, but we got it going again. And we got another break then with the muff. See, I'm getting the order mixed up. I always do this. We had the muff punt deep in their end, and I think that's when then we went and got the last touchdown. But boy, yeah, I'm mixing up the orders on things. But anyway, or we did, maybe we got a field goal. I forget. Or no, yeah, duh. We got that was the touchdown. That was the touchdown. That would have been the KJ touchdown. Yeah. Finally getting these figured out. But or was that the KJ touchdown? I don't know. But anyway, we got the touch. Point is, we got the touchdown. Or yeah, the Munt was the one I forgot. We got a Johnny Munt touchdown earlier in the game. That was very exciting. So yeah, we got the Kirk rushing touchdown, Munt touchdown, Osborne touchdown, and Cook and Madison each got one. I don't really know what the orders were, but we definitely got them. So yeah, that was the KG one, because I remember being really hyped up about it, and then the fucking jackass Greg Joseph goes and misses a PAT. And this was worse than missing just a regular PAT, because it was going to be a 9-point game. A little bit of a difference between a 9-point game and an 8-point game, you fucking bastard kicker. Like the game would have been not over at that point because there was enough time left where they could have put together 2 drives, but it didn't have to be this way, man. Make a fucking PAT. Stop missing PATs. It's like I would not be a bit surprised if we hear that we have a new kicker in a couple days. I would not be the least bit surprised because I mean it's one thing to give a guy a shot, but you can't give a guy endless opportunities. And he's missed, was it like 1 of 6 on 50 plus this year, and he's missed 2 PATs now, and it didn't cost him the game. It didn't cost him the Saints game, but it's going to cost him. It's going to cost him if we keep this shit up. So we did have to still play some defense on Kyler, and he's still whatever Arizona struggles this year. Kyler's still a fucking dangerous quarterback, and we let him get out and run a little bit. I was really getting pissed because every time he got out there to run, he had space. He had open space to run through because we didn't seem to contain at all. We didn't have anybody out on the outside ever to do anything. And they were hitting some plays. Cam Dantzler had a rough game. I guess he was on Hopkins the whole game, and he was getting torched. I think Hopkins had like 10 or 12 catches for like $150. He was really getting destroyed. We made an interception. Cam Bynum got an interception. But that wasn't the end either because we kind of offense couldn't really seal it. We really were not doing our job on offense of sealing the game. We had a few penalties today. We had a couple holding penalties, and then Ingram getting destroyed. It's like these things happen, and then that really kills drives. And that happened a couple times. But so we give it back to him again. Then we get the stop on a it was like third and 4 or something. Little pass over the middle. Jordan Hicks, the other guy, the other former Cardinal. Everyone was talking about Pat P. And Pat P had a big game. Pat P had some big pass defenses. He also got a DPI late that was absolute horseshit. It was not DPI at all. I'm gonna start taking a little longer way because I'm gonna be home and I'm not gonna be done. Pat P had a big game, but then Jordan Hicks got a big tackle, stopped him 1 yard short on a 4th down. That could have been the game right there. We had the ball, then with like 2.5 minutes left, we get a fucking holding penalty. We had like a couple of holding penalties on receivers today, which is really infuriating. I don't know what the totals were for penalties, but I bet we had more penalties today than we've had maybe all year. That we had that drive. It could have sealed the game. We get a holding penalty, and then we kind of just don't bother to try to make plays. We're just trying to kill clock and kill timeouts and stuff. At that point, I kind of agree with that. Like, don't do something stupid. We punt it back, and then we got to play. We got they don't have any timeouts, but they still have they still had like almost a full 2 minutes. I think that was the one we had that Pat P DPI that was horseshit. This was a rough game for the officials. There was you can't see at the stadium if some of these like the holding calls are good or not, but there were some calls that were just really bad. They missed a couple pass interference plays on us too. That would have helped us, but I'm pulling my hair out. Pulling my fake hair out. I wonder if this is fake hair. I don't even know. People need wigs, right? They're not gonna like make this out of real hair. Because Murray's a shifty fucker, and we won't get him on the ground, and he keeps getting away, and I'm like screaming, like, can we get his ass on the ground? Can we finally get his ass on the ground? And then we do it in the last 2 plays. They're like, I think inside the 50, certainly at that point. We get him on the ground once. They're scrambling like crazy, like they weren't going to spike it because you can't, that would be 4th down. And then we get him again. We like trip him up and he falls, and that's the game because the clock runs out, and we win. So again, this was the most entertaining Vikings game of the year, I think, start to finish. Was it the best? Like, it wasn't the complete game I was hoping for. I was hoping that something would be a little more, seamless coming out of the bye. I think the offense was better. I mean, this is certainly the most points the offense has put up. If we had a fucking kicker who wasn't a soon-to-be former kicker, we would have put up 38 points. And a couple, we had a couple little mistakes there, a couple, drops or penalties or poor decision by Kirk on that play where he didn't run. But we had a big game from Dalvin Cook. I think this was his first pretty significant game of the year. Madison got some. I don't know what Jefferson ended up with statistically, but he had a good game. He had one catch. I forget when it was exactly. I think it was third quarter. It might have been on that drive after we fell behind, where he went up and just. It was one of these 50-50 ones that we don't seem to get a lot of. We don't seem to make the play on a lot of those. But he went up and caught a ball over the cornerback, and it was huge play, because I think that was a third down. Pass protection was very weak, at least with Ed Ingram. They got him on the ground a couple times, and there was one or two times where Kirk kind of evaded pressure. There was one play where guy had grabbed him on his shoulder, but he got away, and I think he threw for a first down there. But it's kind of this is just what this team is. It's time to just stop waiting for the complete flawless version of this football team, because you're never going to find it. It's never going to happen. This is who they are, and that's okay, because guess what? What they are doing is working. It's not going to work every game. They're still going to lose some games. I'm equally worried about some of this November schedule coming up as I was 4 hours ago or 5 hours ago. That was a long game. Jesus Christ, it was 5 o'clock. But it's the same game. I feel like it's the same game every week. They're not perfect. They're not Philadelphia. Philadelphia won again today. They're undefeated. They're not Buffalo, but who cares? Right now, all they can do is just win the games in front of them, and go on, win the division, hopefully get a high seed, and then do what you can do in the playoffs. And that's what they're doing right now, and I'm fine with that. So many fans just are insistent on being upset that they're not perfect. I'm sorry, they're not perfect. It would be great. It would be great if they were going out there and blowing teams out, 42-10 every week, but that's just not in reality. That's just not the reality of how it is. They're not going to do that. Maybe they'll be able to blow someone out, really blow someone out at some point this year. It hasn't happened yet. Maybe it won't happen, but embrace what the Vikings are. Embrace what this team is, because they're stressing you out, but they're a lot of fun. They're very likable. Kevin O'Connell just is. It's cliche, but he has done something to the culture of this team. They're not winning these games last year, and if they are, it's stuff that feels flukish, and it doesn't feel flukish that they've won these close games. It feels like, no, you're making the plays that you have to make in these fourth quarters and late in games to win, and they did it again. They needed a couple plays on defense. They got them. They needed here and there. They absolutely needed a drive from this offense. They got it. They're just what if it's voodoo or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. They're finding ways to win these games, and they deserve all the credit. And they're 6-1. Chicago got beat. I think they gave up 49 points to Dallas. And we got Packers playing in Buffalo tonight. We got a shot to, have another really good week in Vikingsville. And, next week they got to go to Washington. That'll be a big story, the return of Kirk Cousins to Washington. And I'm sure it'll be a close game. But you know what? The difference with this team, I'm almost done here. The difference for this team is everything that was happening in this game today. I'm just watching and I'm like, No, they're going to find a way. They're going to find a way to do it. Whether it's getting a big drive on offense or big play, or making a couple of big plays on defense to snuff stuff out, they're going to find the way to do it, because that's just what this team does. And it's incredibly winning. I fucking love this team. And maybe they'll still fall apart, but they haven't fallen apart yet. And they're winning games, and they're winning in very entertaining fashion today. And I'm going to stop talking because I have no more driving to do. So we are 6-1. I'm going to keep this on for a while to remember what it's like when I had hair. So Skol Vikings, and we'll see you when we see you.